You open your credit card app. You see it right there at the top. $50 in cashback rewards. Sitting there, waiting for you. And for a moment, you feel like you figured something out. Like you found a crack in the system. Like you are one of the smart ones who actually reads the fine print and comes out ahead. Now I want you to look out the window. Or pull up Google Maps and look at the skyline of any major city. Those glass towers, 40, 50 stories of steel and marble and floor-to-ceiling windows. Those are bank headquarters. Those buildings cost hundreds of millions of dollars to construct and billions more to fill with the most expensive real estate in the world. Those buildings were not built on goodwill. They were not built by a financial institution that discovered a sustainable business model of handing out free money to cardholders. They were built on one thing: the consistent, mathematical certainty that the people earning the rewards are generating far more money for the bank than the rewards are worth. You are not beating the system. You are the system working exactly as designed. And the most unsettling part: the smarter you think you are, the better it works on you. Let me be clear about something before we go any further. Credit cards are not inherently evil. This isn't a video telling you to cut them up and live on cash alone. Credit cards are a financial tool and, like any tool, they can be used well or used in ways that quietly cost you a significant amount of money over time. The problem isn't the card. The problem is the gamification. At some point, the financial industry realized something important about human psychology. If you frame spending as a game, with points, tiers, rewards, statuses, and the satisfying little notification that tells you you've earned something, people don't just tolerate the spending. They lean into it. They optimize for it. They plan purchases around maximizing the rewards, rather than evaluating whether the purchase made sense in the first place. And here's the part that should genuinely concern you. This trap catches smart people hardest. Not because smart people are secretly foolish, but because smart people are confident in their ability to run the numbers and come out ahead. They believe they can outsmart a system that was designed, tested, and refined by teams of PhDs, behavioral psychologists, data scientists, and financial engineers whose entire professional purpose is to make sure that doesn't happen. You are playing chess against people who invented the board, and the board is tilted. Let's talk about how. The foundational pitch of almost every rewards credit card is some version of this. Spend money, get a percentage back. The standard rate floats around 1.5% for most cards, with higher rates in specific categories like dining or travel if you're on a premium product. 1.5% sounds reasonable. Sounds like a genuine benefit. So let's actually run the math. Not the math the card company shows you, the other math. You're at a store. You see something for $100. You weren't planning to buy it, but it's there. It's appealing. And somewhere in the back of your mind, the thought flickers. I'll put it on the card. Get my cash back. Essentially a discount. So you buy it. Your cashback reward, $1.50. Your bank account, down $98.50. Now, if you were going to buy that item regardless, the math is fine. The $150 is genuinely free money on a purchase you'd already committed to. But that is not what's happening in the majority of reward-driven purchases. And the banks know this with statistical certainty. The reward is not a discount on your spending. It is a psychological nudge toward spending that wouldn't have happened otherwise. The $150 isn't the point. Getting you to spend the $100 is the point. The $150 is just the cost of making that happen reliably, at scale, across millions of cardholders. Think about that the next time something feels like a deal because of the points it generates. There's a concept in behavioral economics called the pain of paying. The idea is straightforward. When you hand someone a physical bill, pull it out of your wallet, count it, place it in another person's hand, and watch it leave. Your brain registers that transaction as a loss. Not metaphorically, neurologically. The same region of the brain that processes physical pain shows measurable activity when you spend cash. Paying actually hurts, slightly, in a way your brain is designed to notice and remember. Now, tap your card, or your phone. or click Confirm Order on a screen. Nothing. No friction. No sensation of loss. The money leaves your account in the same way it always does, but your brain, which evolved long before digital payment systems existed, doesn't register the event with anything close to the same weight. Studies have put numbers on this. People using credit cards instead of cash spend between 15 and 20% more on the same purchases. Not because they're reckless, because the psychological braking system that normally slows down spending is simply not engaged. The transaction doesn't feel real in the same way. The cashback reward is not a bonus feature added on top of a neutral payment method. It is a deliberate incentive, designed by people who understood the pain of paying research very well, to get you to use the frictionless option as often as possible. Because frictionless spending is more spending. The reward is the bribe. The increased spending is the return on that bribe. You weren't given a reward for being a loyal customer. You were given a reward for agreeing to remove your own brakes. Let's talk about the premium card. The one with the thick feel, and the metal construction, and the annual fee that lands somewhere between $400 and $700 depending on which version you chose. The pitch is straightforward. Pay the fee, unlock the benefits. Use the benefits enough to exceed the fee, come out ahead. Sounds reasonable. Here's what actually happens. You pay the fee in January, and then, whether you realize it consciously or not, you spend the rest of the year engineering your behavior around a coupon book. You take the Uber instead of the cheaper option because the card gives Uber credits. You book the specific hotel chain instead of the better-reviewed independent property down the street because the card gives hotel credits. You make the purchase through the specific portal instead of the regular website because the points multiply there. Your spending decisions for 12 full months are quietly being shaped by the need to justify a fee you already paid. You are not using benefits that fit your life. You are reshaping your life to fit the benefits. And the bank designed it exactly this way. Because a person trying to break even on a fee is a person who is committed in advance to a specific volume and pattern of spending. You prepaid for a set of discounts on things you may or may not have actually wanted, and now you're working to redeem them. The house already won the moment you handed over the annual fee. Everything after that is just you trying to feel okay about it. Here is the number that should make every rewards chaser genuinely uncomfortable. The average credit card interest rate right now sits above 20%. Many cards are at 24%, sometimes higher. If you are carrying a balance, any balance, even a modest one, and simultaneously celebrating your cashback rewards, the math is not close. It is not even in the same category. Say you have $3,000 on a card at 24% interest. You're paying minimum payments. And let's say you're earning a reliable 1.5% back on your monthly spending. In a year, the interest on that balance costs you somewhere around $700. Your cashback rewards on reasonable monthly spending might generate $80, maybe $100. The bank is extracting $7 from you for every $1 it hands back in rewards. And it will do this cheerfully month after month, while the app continues showing you your reward balance in bright, encouraging colors as though things are going well. The minimum payment is the most expensive line item on the entire statement, and it's the one displayed in the smallest font. It's set deliberately low, just high enough to keep the account current, just low enough to ensure the balance barely moves, and the interest compounds for as long as possible. The reward program exists, in part, to give people who are slowly drowning in interest something pleasant to look at while it happens. If you are carrying a balance, the rewards conversation is irrelevant. There is no cashback strategy that competes with a 24% interest rate. Pay the balance. Then talk about optimizing. The metal card arrives in a heavy, matte black envelope. You open it and there's a moment, don't pretend there isn't, where it feels significant. The card has weight. Actual physical weight. You tap it on a table and it makes a different sound than a regular card. You put it in your wallet and something subtle shifts in how you feel about yourself. That feeling was engineered. Down to the weight, the sound, the envelope it arrived in. Premium card programs are not selling you financial benefits. They are selling you an identity. The lounge access, the concierge service, the priority boarding, the hotel upgrades. These things exist primarily to calibrate your self-perception upward, to make you feel like someone who belongs in a certain category of spending. And once you feel like that person, you start spending like that person. You drop $200 on dinner because the card is metal, and the restaurant has lighting that feels appropriate for a metal card. You book the business class upgrade because people who have lounge access book upgrades. It fits the narrative. The card didn't just change how you pay. It changed how you think about what's reasonable to spend. This is status marketing at its most sophisticated. The premium card is not a financial product with a lifestyle attached. It's a lifestyle product with a financial mechanism attached. And the lifestyle, carefully maintained, is worth far more to the bank than any fee you pay to access it. Now, here's the one that doesn't get talked about enough. And it should, because it exposes something fundamental about the entire rewards ecosystem. When you save $1,000 in a savings account, you have $1,000. The value is denominated in real currency, governed by actual financial regulations, and protected in ways that are legally defined. When you save 100,000 points, you have whatever the bank decides 100,000 points is worth on the day you try to spend them. That's it. That's the whole issue. Points and miles are a private currency, issued and controlled entirely by the institution that benefits from you accumulating them. There is no independent authority setting the exchange rate. There is no regulatory body ensuring the redemption value stays consistent. The bank can, and regularly does, devalue its rewards currency. Flights that cost 50,000 points last year cost 80,000 this year. Cashback that used to redeem at 1 cent per point now has restrictions and minimums and categories where it applies at a lower rate. You worked for that currency. You shaped your spending around earning it. And the inflation rate on the currency you earned is set unilaterally by the same institution that issued it and profits from your balance. You cannot call the Federal Reserve about your points. There is no appeals process. There is an email buried somewhere informing you that the program terms have been updated, effective 30 days from now. Real money is real money. Points are a promise from an entity with a financial incentive to make that promise worth less over time. There is a specific type of person, and maybe you recognize yourself here, who has a spreadsheet for their credit cards, not for their budget, for their cards. Which card to use at which store, which category rotates at 5% this quarter, which portal gives triple points on hotels through November, which card to put the gas on versus the groceries versus the streaming subscriptions. This person is doing part-time accounting work, unpaid, for a bank. The mental energy required to genuinely optimize a multi-card reward strategy is not trivial. It is a real cognitive load that runs in the background of your daily life. You're at a gas station and there's a moment, a literal decision moment, about which card comes out of the wallet. You're booking a flight, and you have 4 tabs open comparing point valuations across 2 programs. You get a notification that a category is rotating next quarter, and you make a note to update the system. For what? A realistic estimate of the extra value generated by an optimized multi-card strategy over a simple flat-rate card is somewhere between $10 and $20 a month for most households. Maybe $30 if you're very disciplined and spend heavily in the right places. You are managing a part-time job for $12 a month and the anxiety of occasionally using the wrong card. There is a version of personal finance where simplicity is the strategy. One card, or no card, or a straightforward system that requires zero maintenance and zero mental overhead. The piece of not thinking about it does not show up in a rewards balance, but it is worth something real. And for most people, it is worth considerably more than the optimized alternative. Here's the part of the conversation that makes people genuinely uncomfortable, because it moves from the math doesn't favor you into something slightly different. When you use a rewards credit card, you are not just a customer. You are a data source. Every transaction you make is a data point. The restaurant on Tuesday, the pharmacy on Thursday, the airline on Saturday morning, the specific grocery items in some cases. Over months and years, your card usage builds an extraordinarily detailed portrait of your life, your habits, your health, your relationships, your movements, your financial stress levels, your lifestyle aspirations. This data is aggregated, analyzed, and in various forms, monetized. Banks and financial data companies are explicit about this in their terms of service, written in the particular way that terms of service are written, which is to say, technically transparent and practically invisible. The data feeds into marketing partnerships, credit risk modeling, consumer behavior research, and a broader financial data ecosystem that is worth billions of dollars annually. The cashback reward is not just a bribe to use the frictionless payment method. It is also, partially, your cut of a transaction in which you are the product. You are being paid a small percentage of your own privacy. The bank keeps the rest. This doesn't mean every rewards card holder is being actively harmed by data collection in some immediate, traceable way. It means the value exchange is more complex than, I spend money and get a percentage back. There is a second transaction happening simultaneously, one that doesn't show up in the app, and the percentage you receive from that one is not negotiable and not disclosed clearly. Let's end with the simplest, most clarifying truth about this entire system. If credit card rewards programs were losing money for the banks, they would be gone tomorrow morning. Not restructured, not scaled back, gone, permanently discontinued. Because financial institutions do not maintain unprofitable product lines out of goodwill toward cardholders. The rewards program exists because it is profitable, significantly, reliably, consistently profitable. And the math of how that profit is generated is not complicated once you look at it directly. Roughly 80% of cardholders carry a balance at some point during the year. The interest those balances generate, at 20, 22, 24%, funds the entire reward ecosystem and then some. The 20% who pay in full every month and collect their miles are, in a very real sense, receiving a subsidy paid for by the 80% who don't. The question is which group you're actually in, not which group you intend to be in, or believe yourself to be in, or were in for the last 3 months. Which group your actual behavior puts you in, consistently over time. If you are carrying a balance, any balance, you are in the 80%, funding someone else's free flight. If your spending has increased since you started optimizing rewards, you are in the 80%. If you've ever made a purchase primarily because of the points it would generate. The house got you, and it got you cleanly. You are swimming with sharks who have a PhD in making the water feel comfortable. So here's where we land. Credit cards, used with genuine discipline, on spending you were already going to do, paid in full every single month without exception, can provide a modest real benefit. That version of the story is true, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise. But that is not the version most people are living. Most people are living a version where the card has subtly increased their spending, where the rewards feel like wins while the balance quietly grows, where the mental energy spent optimizing a multi-card system exceeds the value it generates, and where the underlying architecture of the whole thing was designed by people who understand human psychology far better than any individual cardholder. The cashback is real. The illusion is that it represents you winning. You can use these tools. Just use them with both eyes open. Know what the game actually is before you decide to play it. And remember that every feature designed to make the card feel rewarding, exclusive, or exciting was put there by someone running the numbers on the other side of the table. If this video made you look at your wallet slightly differently, that's the point. I'd genuinely appreciate it if you hit the like button. It helps this kind of honest, unsponsored financial content reach people who are currently convinced they're beating a system that was built to beat them. If you're not subscribed yet, this is what the channel does. No products, no sponsors with a conflict of interest. No version of financial advice designed to make you feel good while someone else extracts value. Just the straight version. Leave me a comment before you go. Tell me which one of these 9 things landed hardest for you. I read them. And if enough of you say the same thing, it usually becomes the next video. Take care of yourselves. Pay the balance. I'll see you in the next one.